conference at his Mar-a-Lago residence for the first time since Kamala Harris announced Tim Walz as her running mate. The former president says he has agreed to an offer from ABC News to have a televised presidential debate with Harris next month. And Trump says he wants more.
I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I hope she agrees to them September 4th, September 10th, September 25th. I think they'll be very revealing.
Harris and her vice presidential pick, Governor Walz, are back on their campaign trail through battleground states. The pair stopped in Michigan and Arizona Thursday. Harris says the U.S. must believe in unity instead of division.
We believe in our country. We believe in each other. We believe in the collective. We're not falling for these folks who are trying to divide us.
Of Maui, burning the historic town of Lahaina. Recovery slow. Tourists were asked to urging visitors to the island, saying it's the best way to support the recovery process. Those are your headlines. Here's your weather on the ones.
I'm meteorologist Ian Cassette. Debbie, no longer a tropical storm, but impacts are expected to continue on Friday as it journeys quickly to the northeast, picking up in speed as it gets absorbed by a front. We'll see by Friday afternoon over Pennsylvania, then all the way up into Canada as we get into Friday night. So we are going to be watching for that threat of flooding. Flood alerts are in effect in Virginia, Pennsylvania, and New York. Talking about those rain totals and what else lies in the tropics in 10 minutes on Weather on the Ones.
A historic showdown now just weeks away. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Tazwell. Vice President Kamala Harris and former Presidents Donald Trump are set to debate from Mar-a-Lago Thursday in his first major event since the Democratic Walz hit the next stop in their battleground state tour with events in Michigan before heading to Arizona later tonight. Spectrum's Evan Kozloff is in Washington as the campaigns face off.
If you look at Martin Luther King,
former President Donald Trump speaking at a news conference on Thursday, at one point comparing his rally on January 6, 2021, the day of the Capitol riot by his supporters, to the gathering for Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech in 1963, claiming inaccurately that his crowd was actually bigger.
we actually had more people. They said I had 25,000 and he had 1 million people, and I'm okay with it because I liked Dr. Martin Luther King.
The news conference, an effort by Trump to seize the momentum from Vice President Kamala Harris after she held a series of large and boisterous rallies this week with her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Trump repeatedly disparaged Harris as not smart, mispronounced her first name.
She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart.
Lead to a debate on ABC News on September 10th that Harris has also agreed to.
We'd like to do 3 debates.
Also saying that he would debate her on NBC and Fox News in September, dates that Harris had not yet accepted. Trump also made a number of false claims during the press conference, such as incorrectly claiming that nobody was killed on January 6 and challenging the legitimacy of Harris as the Democrats' nominee. Harris, meanwhile, was back on the trail on Thursday, meeting with members of the United Auto Workers in Michigan. The key union has endorsed Harris and could play a pivotal role in the Midwest, where many of its 400,000 members are located.
I am so deeply honored, as a lifelong supporter of union labor, for Tim and I to have the endorsement of UAW.
And the Harris campaign is now turning its attention from the Rust Belt to the Sun Belt, holding rallies in Phoenix on Friday and Las Vegas on Saturday. Reporting here in Washington, this is Evan Kozloff, Spectrum News.
Spectrum's Tim Boyum continues our team coverage in studio with me to break it all down. Tim, what did you think he decided to hold this solo news conference today?
Yeah, well, I mean, the vice president, Kamala Harris, has been getting so much attention.
She has.
And of course, with their vice president pick, she has too. So I think he's trying to change the narrative. She's gotten a lot of positive attention. I think we're going to talk about it in a minute, but the polling seems to make it really good in her favor so far. So I think he was trying to just change the narrative. It was interesting, not a lot came out of it. It was a lot of what we've heard before, except for this that he's now agreed to, he says, 3 debates. So we'll see if that happens.
Exactly, and we look forward to that, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to switch gears a little bit. You did talk about Harris-Walz campaign. The pair is continuing, going through the swing states, doing their tour on Thursday, and it appears they are gaining momentum, which you talked about. So talk about the latest Marist national poll and what this means.
Yeah, we always feel things in politics, and it's felt like it's been a good couple weeks for Kamala Harris, and this polling shows that it has. I mean, it's just totally changed the course of this. In fact, she's got a national lead of about 3%. But more importantly, with independents, she's totally flipped that. Women, which is very important for, it has really flipped. The one thing I do caution is, it's still August. It's been a wild summer, but we got a long ways to go. But at this moment, it's looking pretty good with her. And I think that's why we saw the former president out here today.
Exactly. And we did see people are really riled up and excited.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, like you said, it is August, so a lot could happen between now and
Get some
November.
rest.
Yes, exactly. Tim William.
Good to see you.
You too. Debbie roared back ashore, hitting South Carolina's coast early Thursday, unleashing heavy rain, storm surge, and tornadoes across the Carolinas. Authorities confirmed at least one storm-related death after a twister destroyed a home in North Carolina. But as Spectrum News anchor Carla Redditt reports, Debbie isn't the only weather-related threat bearing down on the southeast.
I dropped down to my knees and went to prayer.
Norman Toller was rousted from bed Thursday morning by a tornado, bearing down on his North Carolina home.
You know, I've worked all my life for what I got here.
Only feet to spare, but his neighbor was not as fortunate. A body. About 70 miles southwest, this tornado swirled through Sampson County Wednesday. Residents in its path joining other storm victims on a long road to recovery. At one point Thursday, more than 5 million people were under a tornado watch from North Carolina into southern Virginia. The days-long wave of twisters exacerbating already catastrophic storm impacts.
It's heart-wrenching.
Flooding remains a major issue. Since Monday, Debbie has dumped more than a foot of rain over parts of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. Forecasters say several dozen river gauges across the southeast could reach or exceed major flood levels and possibly stay that way into next week.
When we get this much water and the rivers back up on us, and there's really not a whole lot we can do.
Members of North Carolina's National Guard have been mobilized to assist in ground and swift water rescues.
North Carolinians to be careful, to be safe, to pay attention.
Debbie is expected to pick up speed as it moves toward the northeast into Saturday. And Georgia, where thousands of customers still remain without power. Carla Redditt, Spectrum News.
We are learning new details about a planned attack at a Taylor Swift show in Vienna, Austria. With the help of foreign intelligence agencies, local police arrested 2 men suspected of plotting a suicide attack. Investigators say they found a stockpile of chemicals and explosive devices at the home of the main suspect. The 19-year-old is believed to be an ISIS sympathizer who authorities say became radicalized online. And police say he confessed to planning to kill as many people as possible outside the concert venue. Organizers were forced to cancel 3 of Swift's concerts. Many fans spent thousands of dollars to attend the shows, but say safety is most important.
I will speak for myself and my friends and just say we're all very devastated, and just like the concert itself being canceled is sad, but also we caught it before anything, major could have happened.
Swift songs in support of the musician. A somber anniversary in Hawaii. We find out how the island of Maui is recovering 1 year after deadly wildfires. That's just ahead on Spectrum News.
Spectrum News Plus. News from a new perspective, dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the nation. With balanced reporting, providing real context and in-depth coverage 24 hours a day.
Here's a look at your forecast across the country.
Local stories, connecting communities. We are Spectrum News Plus. Streaming now on the Spectrum News app and free with your Spectrum subscription.
At Spectrum, we know that internet is a vital tool to become a video game developer. That's why Spectrum has affordable solutions to keep you connected. At Spectrum, we are committed to delivering reliable, affordable internet and unlimited mobile to keep you connected to what matters most to you.
I never graduated from high school. I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I'm meteorologist Ian Cassette. Debbie's impacts, they continue. And on Thursday was in North Carolina, where heavy rain continued all day long, leading to flooding, over a half-foot of rain, and even a damaging tornado that was deadly northeast of Raleigh. You see the damage in Cary, North Carolina, downed tree in a house. If you capture an image like this, feel free to send it into the Spectrum News app and you can get it on air. Now, our system will be turning northward, not expected to be tropical into Friday, but the impacts remain the same. Heavy rain through northern Virginia, up along the Appalachian Mountains through D.C. by Friday morning, and moving into moves northeastward. Upstate New York, we're going to be watching for that severe threat, especially southern New York, just north of New York, pass through before eventually making its way to the northeast into New England there, where that severe threat is expected to come down some, but the flood threat does continue. For tomorrow and on Friday, we will have that flood threat going from Harrisburg to Syracuse, Albany, and upstate New York, level 3 out of 4 for flooding, where we could see rain totals up to 6 inches. So additional rainfall on Friday, Roanoke over 1.5 inches of rain, over 2 inches in Harrisonburg, State College 1.5 inches, Syracuse nearly 4 inches of rain, and all the way up into Canada, where that flood threat will last for them. So this storm is a long-lasting storm with impacts felt all the way through from Florida to the northeast. The severe threats for tomorrow can't be ignored as well. Damaging gusts and a few tornadoes possible, especially into the afternoon. Philadelphia, New York, Baltimore, all areas that should watch closely. What else is going on in the tropics? Well, we do have a tropical wave as things are going to be likely picking up. A 40% chance of development with this wave as it tracks westward. It's on this. We're going to have a little bit more on this forecast, including what's going on across the rest of the country coming up.
1 year ago, deadly wildfires ripped across the island of Maui, burning the historic town of Lahaina. Since then, people living there have tried to reclaim homes amid charred ashes, though the struggle continues. Our Robert Guadarrama looks back and looks ahead.
1 year ago, an inferno nearly destroyed the western Maui town of Lahaina. More than 17,000 acres burned across the island, causing billions of dollars in damage and killing at least 102 people. A year has passed, and the road to recovery is slow going.
I could be on the street without them, without my family.
An estimated 3,000 people remain displaced, many living in hotels. But a few dozen are moving. Leola Vieira and her daughter moved into a rental home. Weeks later, she lost her husband of 57 years to cancer.
I worry a lot because I have been so depressed ever since my husband passed, and I can feel my mind and my memory all going downhill. So I think with this new home, I think I will be able to accept more things now, because it seems like I'm on the right track.
Government and nonprofit groups have offered temporary solutions for displaced residents, but on the tourism-dependent island, the housing market has been squeezed by vacation rentals. It is believed about 1,500 households have left the island as a result.
When you start to see mass exodus of the people, you start to change the fabric of Hawaii. And that's what's at stake, is the future of who Hawaii is as an identity, as a people, as a place.
But Hawaii government
building housing is going to be critical in the second year.
And changing to long-term rentals.
Hoping to bring as many as 7,000 short-term rentals back to the market for local families on Maui.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is focused on debris removal in Lahaina.
When the residents come back to see their properties and they see not ash and debris all over their lot, but they see a nice clean lot with gravel, they see their future in front of them.
Nearly all residential properties have been cleared of debris.
If you drive around Lahaina town, you will see numerous foundations being poured, numerous walls and roofs going up. And that is the phoenix rising from the ashes. That is the true sign of recovery and the manifestation of the hope that many of the local residents have been feeling.
Residents like Vieira, who is ready to begin the next chapter.
We will return to our property that was burnt, and we will rebuild.
Robert Guadarrama.
And we're joined by Spectrum's Robert Guadarrama. Robert, folks may be unsure if they should visit Maui.
Right. Officials are saying that, originally they were saying initially that they did not want tourists to visit. However, now they are encouraging travel to Maui. In fact, the Hawaii Tourism Authority says visiting is the best way to support the recovery process. Tourism is the primary industry of the island, and the locals need the business as they rebuild. However, travelers are reminded to be respectful of what took place there a year ago, as well as mindful of the challenges that the people of Maui continue to face today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Robert, what parts of the island are open right now to tourists?
Sure. So surprisingly, most of it, Sharon, is open. The town of Lahaina actually remains mostly closed, but there are a few businesses and restaurants open there. A vast majority of the island, though, is fully open, including its 3 largest towns, Maui's National Park, and the famous Road to Hana.
And it's such a beautiful island. I'm sure they'll welcome the tourists and the money that comes along with it.
Absolutely.
All right, Robert, thanks. Coming up on Spectrum News, the new diagnosis for a sprinting star that has his final competition in doubt.
Here's the deal. In this election year, people need a place to explore national issues that have an impact on their community. To understand those issues better, we're bringing together our team of local political journalists from across the country to break down what's happening. So join us every week to catch up on the key stories making a big difference across the nation and in your local community.
Watch The Big Deal with Errol Lewis Friday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Spectrum News Plus. Available on all of your favorite devices exclusively on Spectrum.
Give me one good reason why I shouldn't switch to Spectrum Enterprise.
Well, you said our services meet some of your technology needs.
But not all.
Well, maybe you have too many.
Demand better. And when they call you unreasonable, call us.
Look, I'm switching to Spectrum Enterprise because they'll be a true partner, and I can't.
Demand better. And when they call you unreasonable, call us.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
I'm meteorologist Ian Cassette. Debbie's impacts, they continue as it moves to the north. No longer a tropical storm, but still expected to lead to heavy rain, potential for flooding, and also severe weather all the way up to the northeast as it moves northward overnight into Friday. So the winds, they're going to howl overnight into Friday morning across the Delmarva region, strong wind gusts, and then when you include the storms into the afternoon, potential for severe winds as we get into Friday morning, windy in Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, into Friday evening up into New England, where they expect some gusty winds and heavy rain. By Saturday, most of the system will be out of the way as it gets absorbed by a front and on its way out. But the severe damaging winds and also damaging tornadoes as well. We've had a deadly tornado in North Carolina. So Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York, all areas under a level 2 risk on Friday into the afternoon. That's going to be the main window. Eastern Pennsylvania, that's when you should be paying close attention. We are continuing to track what else is going on in the tropics. There are signals that things are going to pick up here, especially in the month of August, but down the road, September, November, with La Nina expected to develop, that is favorable for development for tropical activity. So NOAA, in their released new outlook going through the rest of the hurricane season, 17 to 24 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, 4 to 7 major hurricanes, all well above average here. And everything we've seen with record warm temperatures in the ocean, along with the fact that we have above average activity coming off of Africa, all leads us to believe that this will be a busy hurricane season. With this system, though, it is going to be picked up by a front, so there's some changes on the way. To fall here, temperatures feeling really good going into Friday. We'll have those temperatures in the 70s in Green Bay, 80 degrees in Cleveland. Much more comfortable weather after the system does move it on its way out. As we get into the south, though, it's very hot. Into the weekend highs, 90 degrees in Houston, 94 degrees in Jackson, where temperatures are expected to be in the mid-90s next few days through New Orleans. So a very toasty weekend, though expected to be dry, with lows only falling to 80 degrees. Very humid with heat alerts likely. For Pittsburgh, though, different story. 84 degrees on Friday. Going into this weekend, going to be great in the Northeast. 80 degrees Saturday, Sunday, 79 degrees with nothing but sunshine in the forecast. Dry weather expected to continue through the weekend.
If you're just joining us, here's what you need to know. Former president for Trump since Tim Walz was announced as Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate. Held on support from key union leaders in Michigan before heading to Arizona. Tropical storm Debbie expected to keep moving inland, already spawning at least 3 tornadoes in North Carolina, leveling homes and killing at least 1 person. And that's what you need to know this evening. A special honor for 2 Team USA gold medalists in the Paris Olympics. Katie Ledecky and Nick Mead will be the flag bearers for the closing ceremony on Sunday. Fellow Team USA athletes voted for the pair. 4-time Olympian Ledecky is the most decorated U.S. women's Olympian ever. Mead won gold with his rowing team, a first for Team USA since 1960. And on the track, American sprinter Noah Lyles confirmed that he's tested positive for COVID, but raced in Thursday's 200-meter race anyways. Despite his illness, Lyles took bronze, but was previously heavily favored to win the finish line and was helped off by medical personnel. His status for the men's 4x100-meter relay race Friday is unclear. And now a triumph on the track. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone took gold in the women's 400-meter hurdles. No one else came close to her. She won the race in Tokyo as well. And take a look at the Olympic medal tally. Team USA has surpassed 100 medals with 30 gold. China remains in second overall, with France holding on to third. A new program is transforming backyards into beautiful conservation spaces. Spectrum's Philip Boudreau explains.
David Tersteg is spending part of his day ripping out thistle. 2 years ago, Tersteg says he got help from the Geneva Lake Conservancy. He says they worked with him to grow native plants on his septic mound in his backyard.
Usually you see these mounds are covered in grass. Through the GLC, we got a list of plants that like that type of environment. They like the southern facing sun, they're okay in sand. They even have some septic mound type mixes you put in.
Tersteg says it's been nice to see so many flowers bloom during the year.
We wanted to do it basically to have less grass, to save money on fertilizers, get away from any kind of pesticides or herbicides.
Carol Elkins is the conservation program specialist for the Conservancy. Elkins says they created the Conservation at Home and Work programs to educate homeowners and property owners about the best plants that help the ecosystem. She says they have done this at more than 220 sites around the county since 2020.
Acre by acre, we're actually improving the ecosystem here. Lawn turf really is just a dead zone for wildlife, and so when we convert that to something like we are showing here, we're actually creating habitat for lots of different kinds of species.
Family has responded.
The benefit for us is just tonight, we'll have lunch, we'll have dinner. They can watch nature basically unfold. So you see the birds come in, you see all the insects come in. At night, you're making s'mores and the bats are coming in.
Those are the moments Terstag cherishes the most. He says he hopes others will take a chance on giving some of their yard back to nature. In Lake Geneva, Philip Boudreau, Spectrum News.
I'm Sharon Tazwell. Thanks for watching. Your Spectrum News in 90 is coming up right after this short break. Stay with us.
At Spectrum News, we're committed to strengthening the fabric of local communities through our reporting, with stories that inspire and news that matters. Streaming live on your smart TV and connected devices, plus on-demand weather forecasts. It's all there as you step outside with the Spectrum News Plus, local stories connecting communities.
At Spectrum, our workforce of over 100,000 employees are all located right here in the U.S. You can find them in our stores, in the field, and in our call centers with 100% U.S.-based customer service. Our team works hard to provide the towns, cities, and neighborhoods they live in with the reliable services that everyone counts on, making us one of America's most trusted companies. We're Spectrum, creating jobs and opportunities across the country, and proud to be 100% U.S.-based.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a...
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.